Philadelphia Eagles are champions of the National Football League World, and they did it by beating the tar out of the two-time defending champion Kansas City Chiefs.
You're in New Orleans. You've just won the Super Bowl. I imagine that this locker room is going to get as loose as you can get.
We kept hearing about the three-peat. We keep hearing about Steve Spagnuolo. But really the best defense in the league has been the Philadelphia Eagles and Vic Fangio. And so there's a little bit of kind of a disrespect card, I would think, that was being played there.
It was dominant. It was just a dismantling offensively and defensively. Complete team effort, just totally dismantled the Kansas City Chiefs.
It was like the same blueprint that we had when we beat them in the Super Bowl when I was on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Rush 4, put all the pressure on Patrick Mahomes, let him scramble around, get frustrated, and then throw interceptions.
Jalen Hurts, great performance by you. How did you manage to have your best game possibly in your career in one of the biggest moments of your career?
It all goes back to the work, and it's a team effort. I was telling Mr. Lurie, defense wins championships, and that defense played their ass off today.
I feel like I didn't play to my standard, just with especially the struggles that I had early in the season, and so there's things that I have to get better at, and they kind of showed today on the biggest stage, and so. I'm about to find a way this offseason to combat what defenses are doing to me.
Listen, I love what Pat said there. He's an ultimate leader. And this is an offensive line that got exposed today. Patrick didn't have any help out there. I mean, the running backs had a combined 7 carries for 24 yards right there. Xavier Worthy came on at the end, but obviously a lot of that was kind of garbage time to finish things up. Like he was out there by himself.
The brilliance of Hurts aside.
Yeah.
The defense for Philadelphia is, I think, the headline because it was just suffocating. What did they do? Yeah. What kind of game plan did Fangio dial
I think that's a great way to describe it. Hurts was great, so we shouldn't take that away from him. But we will remember this as the Super Bowl where the Eagles' defense dominated, and it was the guys up front.
I don't know if you saw this, Rex, but it seemed like they were surprised. Like they thought that their game plan was going to work. They thought that they were going to have time to execute these downfield passes, and they just didn't.
They think they have time. That's what paper tells you.
Right.
You know what? You got nothing. You got turnstiles at tackle. Like, you had no chance. That plan was horrendous.
They took the Chiefs, put them directly over their knee, and spanked them with it.
Let's be real. We watched the Washington Commanders have early success against this team. We thought at one point Matthew Stafford was going to drive the football and score late in that game to push it into extra minutes in overtime. And so let's not just act like they were this every single game. What we saw tonight, to me, was a first-half performance that goes down as one of the best first-half performances we've ever seen in the Super Bowl.
Hats off to the Eagles, man. They got after us.
I'm just happy to be a part of this group and be coached by Coach Fangio and everybody else on the staff. It's amazing.
One, they didn't try to run the football against a team that wasn't really loading the box and was inviting you to run simply because they felt as though the fact that they don't blitz a lot and they were going to rush forward, that they would have 5, maybe 6 in protection, that they would be able to handle it. And they never really got off of that, despite the fact that their offensive line was showing we're not handling it.
Done with my work at Fox, and I'm walking in the bowels of the Superdome, and I see this man in like a very casual shirt and jeans with like a Super Bowl hat on. I'm like, all right, is that Vic Fangio? Vic Fangio was walking alone in the bowels, and he was like, I'm going to the team bus. I'm like, Vic, congratulations on winning the Super Bowl. He's like, yeah, look, it doesn't validate anything. I've always been coaching. It's an amazing moment. I go, Vic, take a second here. You just silenced the greatest team of this generation and absolutely made Patrick Mahomes look like mincemeat for 3/4 of the game. Take a second. And Vic looked at me and said, I have been coaching in the NFL since 1986. This is my first Super Bowl victory in 2025. That's 38 years.
I got to say, I like this revenge tour kind of vibe. I like that we're going to have a little adversity for these champs. I embrace the Brady Mahomes GOAT conversation. I like the, we don't want it to all come easy.
It was not even that close. This was domination by the Philadelphia Eagles on all fronts, especially on the defensive line front. They absolutely destroyed the O-line of the Chiefs. Didn't do anything fancy. They didn't blitz. They didn't do nothing. They were getting lots of pressure, sacking Mahomes 6 times in that game. But this was a little bit unexpected in terms of just how not close this game was.
Tom Brady-led Patriots still hold the record for most consecutive playoff wins with 10. Well, I got 12. That's neither here nor there. One more than the Chiefs, whose playoff winning streak stopped at 9. Yes, you can look it up, Ash. I got 12 consecutive playoff wins.
Hey,
I said 12. I said 12. Oh, so I'm the king. I'm the king. I'm still number one right now. I got a contract betwixt me and Elias that says I got 12 consecutive wins.
Right. This is the funny thing, too, when you think about it, right? I'm happy that the Eagles won. I'm happy for Jalen Hurts. He got the monkey off his back. He got a Super Bowl championship. He got his ring, right? You got your Lombardi. Now, on the flip side of things, I think about the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, despite, even with the offensive woes, look how far they're getting year in and year out, even with the struggles that they have on the offensive line.
Yeah. And they have a stake in having one of the most impressive seasons in the history of the Super Bowl and the NFL. And the cherry on top of it is they prevented the first ever three-peat attempt in the history of the Super Bowl.
If you don't have to blitz Patrick Mahomes and you're going to put that kind of pressure on him, I've said many times, you can have an average line and that results into an average performance by your quarterback. And you saw that last night. Mahomes was under pressure. I think the numbers were close to 43% of the time that they were pressuring him last night. Couple of interceptions there at the end of the first half, which I really think changed the game.
Absolutely demolished by the Eagles. Patrick Mahomes looks like a JV quarterback. Now, it doesn't take away from the fact they got 3 titles. It does stop the conversation, which didn't really bother me. I thought it was funny, like cutesy. People comparing the New England Patriots dynasty and the Chiefs dynasty, they don't even belong in the same field.
A 25.4 passing grade in the first half, the lowest of any half of his career. Wow. So you're talking, we really did see Patrick Mahomes for a multitude of reasons. The Eagles defense playing great, his own pass protection letting him down, his receivers not getting open. The worst half we've ever seen him play.
They never had to bring more than 4 rushers throughout the entirety of the night. For people that want to quibble with what's a blitz and what's not a blitz, the Eagles rushed 4 the entire night and managed to undo every single part of the Chiefs offense, down to Patrick Mahomes, Dad, who looked as rattled as we had ever seen him. Because even in the Super Bowl loss to the Buccaneers, we were still awed by the things that Mahomes did in that game, trying to keep them in it. It was one we watched and said, hey, there was nothing more that guy could have done. This game, Dad, they rattled him in a way that I don't think we've ever seen before.
As 2 years from now, when people look back and they say, well, Patrick Mahomes did his job. Yeah. He was 21 of 32 for 257 yards, 3 touchdowns. No. That is will be a such misleading stat. He was thoroughly destroyed.
The Philadelphia Eagles became the first team in NFL history to win 15-plus games in a regular season and go on to win the Super Bowl. Teams previously 0-7. And how about the defense? Defense, it still wins championships.
How many of these quarterbacks have a Super Bowl MVP? We can talk about the regular season MVP, but Super Bowl MVP has to matter. And when you're talking about it, he has one, and he has the ring. He has the trophy. And the only other quarterbacks that are playing right now that have had a Super Bowl in the last, decade are Stafford, Patrick Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts. That's it.
And I know it's fresh in our minds right now, but to lose the way that they did, and for that to be the second time on the Super Bowl scene of a huge game, to go out there and really just get destroyed, I just don't think was a good look. And we can't take away, look, they went back to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row. Tom was able to do that too. He won 2 of them. They won 2 of them. So it's still something for them. But the way they lost, why it's like fresh in our minds, we just don't see the Brady and the Patriots team. They never lost that way.
The nightmare has begun for the Chiefs. It's going to be a long off season. We talked about the people that they're going to be having to make decisions on and whatnot. And so hats off to everything they've done so far, but they have to kind of start over.
Philadelphia hoisting the Lombardi is an absolutely beautiful thing. Coach Sirianni, who was questioned all year, was able to rally the boys. Jalen Hurts, who can't threw it all over the yard. Saquon Barkley, who was a New York Giant, by far the best roster we've seen in the NFL in a long time.
This game tonight was really simple. The guys up front for Philadelphia were better than the guys up front for Kansas City.
Right.
Point blank, period.
Yeah.
Significantly better.
That hasn't changed in football. You win both lines, you like your chances. You win the turnover battle, those are the two things that you can pretty much script. Philadelphia, 3 turnovers forced. The Chiefs done. Philly plus 13 in 4 playoff games.
As bad as it was and as bad as it looked, the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs got destroyed. Now, Philadelphia Eagles were up 24-0 at the half. We can't forget the fact that Patrick Mahomes threw a pick 6. We can't forget the fact that he threw another interception at their own 14-yard line. So you basically gave the Philadelphia Eagles 14 points. Correct. Okay? Yeah. But it was because he was tap dancing in the pocket like the late great Gregory Hines got rested. So
we're gonna have to wait about 3 Super Bowls to get him in this GOAT conversation.
Yeah.
To make it real now.
Yeah. He doesn't do well when Tom Brady's involved in the Super Bowl. I think we can establish that trend when Tom was playing for Tampa or last night as well.